PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar begins search for running mate as Allied Congress Party of Nigeria. The Zenith Labour Party also produced presidential candidates. Federal High Court stops Police Service Commission from demoting more than 1,000 police officers. Inspector General asks PSC to obey court order. In international news, more than 5,000 people missing in Indonesia's deadly earthquake and tsunami. And in sports, Nigeria's women basketball team D Tigers move up 15 points in latest FIBA rankings.
This is ANN News.
I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Nigeria's First Lady, Aisha Buhari, has questioned the integrity of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshiomhole, over the controversy and alleged irregularities that followed the party primaries. Mrs. Buhari says the party appeared to have granted automatic tickets to some political office aspirants while denying others the opportunity to contest, even though they had coughed off huge amounts of money to purchase nomination forms. In a series of tweets on her verified Twitter handle, Mrs. Buhari said that Oshiomhole, despite coming from a Labour background that required staying on the people's side, presided over what she called the impunity. The First Lady called on Nigeria to resist this. Reactions to her statements have been mixed. Some say her comments may be unconnected to the emergence of Jibrila Bindo, governor of Adamawa State, as the preferred candidate for the Adamawa governorship ticket. Bindo defeated Nuhu Ribadu and Aisha Buhari's brother, Dr. Mahmood Halilu. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has emerged on Sunday as the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Atiku won almost half of the 3,000 delegates' vote. Governor Aminu Tambuwal of Sokoto State came second, while Senate President Bukola Saraki took the third place. Atiku is now looking at who would fit the bill to be on the ticket him for the 2019 race for the presidency. Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha's son-in-law and former Chief of Staff Uche Owosu has been declared winner of the 2018 governorship primary. Owosu was announced as the governorship candidate on Sunday by the Electoral Committee headed by Ibrahim Agbabiaka, but some governorship aspirants under a coalition known as the Imo Allied Forces, with Senators Hope Uzodinma and Eze Madumere, claimed they were not part of the process. They also said they had gone to court to stop the primaries. While declaring the results, Agbabiaka said all the 9 governorship aspirants participated in the exercise and that he wants to poll more than 269,000 votes to emerge winner of the heated contest. The Zenith Labour Party has elected Ondo State's former governor Dr. Olusegun Mimiko as its consensus presidential candidate for the 2019 election. Meanwhile, the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, ACPN, has elected former vice president of the World Bank and co-founder of Bring Back Our Girls BBOG movement, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, as its presidential candidate. And the Action Democratic Party has picked Oyo State former governor Adebayo Alao Akala as its governorship candidate for the 2019 general elections. Akala had earlier pulled out of APC governorship primaries for being given the certificate of return to be the party's flag bearer in Oyo State. There was confusion in the camp of the Ondo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC as the primaries produced parallel National Assembly candidates. A faction of the party has called for the dissolution of the State Executive Committee for anti-party activities and insubordination to the national leadership of the party. The National Working Committee had given automatic tickets to Senators Ajayi Boroface, Yele Omogunwa and Tayo Alasha Adura to represent the North, South and Central Senatorial districts of the state. But another faction of the party had produced Lucky Aye Dasiwa, Tayo Alasha Adura and Dr. Tunji Abayomi to represent the South, Central and North Senatorial districts of the state. Following the clash between the Nigeria police and members of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja on Saturday, the police has directed Senate Presidents Bukola Saraki, Senators Dino Melaye and Ben Bruce to report for investigation at the Federal Capital Territory Police Command on Monday. The three had led a protest at the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission to register its opposition to INEC's declared results in the recent Osun elections. In a letter to the parties involved, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command says it has a statutory jurisdiction to investigate the matter. The statement also noted that further investigation is ongoing to determine the level of involvement and culpability of Senators Dino Melaye and Ben Bruce, whom police said were captured on camera actively involved in the disturbance. They are being investigated for disturbing public peace and public safety and unlawfully blocking Shehu Shagari Way in Abuja for several hours, preventing free flow of traffic. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has urged the Chairman of the Police Service Commission, PSC Musiliu Smith, to obey the orders of Abuja Federal High Court restraining the Commission from demoting officers who had been promoted for their performance in combating crime. The officers who were promoted included those that arrested notorious kidnap suspect Evans in Lagos and Vampire in Owerri, Imo State. IGP Idris says their promotions for superlative performance were in compliance with all the requirements of the law. Justice Abdul Kafarati, who presided over the case, restrained PSC, who are defendants in the suit, their agents and servants from demoting the plaintiffs and several other police officers duly promoted by the Inspector General. Nigeria Customs has intercepted in Lagos yesterday some smuggled items with an approximate duty-paid value of 2 billion naira. Those goods include 9 bulletproof sport utility vehicles and 11,050 kg bags of foreign parboiled rice. Customs Area Controller Aliyu Mohammed disclosed that 28 suspects were arrested in connection with a total of 89 seizures during September. 283 cartons of various pharmaceutical products, none of which had NAFDAC numbers, were also seized. Exporters of raw cashew nuts, with the backing of the National Cashew Association of Nigeria, has urged the Central Bank of Nigeria to order commercial banks to create a special window for them. The association said this will enable them to get loans at competitive rates and would also be able to revive the industry and boost the federal government's diversification agenda. The group spokesman, Kehinde Ibikule, said exporters need about 13 billion naira to finance cashew exports to the end of this year. Ibikule said they needed a special credit package from commercial banks to improve their exports. He said more than a third of their members had abandoned the trade because of high interest rates. Coming up, African stories, and later, 5,000 people missing in Indonesia's earthquake.
You are watching ANN.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Adam, go and bring us your husband. Okay, hello baby.
We're in this together, okay? Can you hear me? Keep coming forward.
Wait, stop.
You okay, lean to your right. Keep walking down. Keep walking to the left. Yes.
You're almost here.
Keep going.
You are here. Wow, you did it.
I'm just so glad I didn't have to use my cane to do this.
And I am so glad no other man got you before me. Let me be your eyes.
We will never stop working to give you a network you can rely on, so you can enjoy life's special moments. MTN, everywhere you go.
Welcome back. This is NN News. And now to some African stories. Vote counting is ongoing in Cameroon after Sunday's presidential election. Observers say the count may take up to 2 weeks. Meanwhile, incidents of unrest flared up in separatist Anglophone regions in the country during voting on Sunday. The election is expected to extend President Paul Biya's tenure beyond the 36 years he has ruled the country. Some polling stations were not open and voter turnout was low because of security fears. The Cameroonian army reported that a regional official suffered a minor injury after his convoy was ambushed by rebels. A security source also said at least 3 armed separatists were shot dead by security forces in the northwest English-speaking town of Bamenda. Africans may soon be able to travel visa-free within the continent if countries embrace African Union's plan. The dream may not be close at hand, but Ethiopia is taking the lead in trying to make it a reality. President Mulatu Teshome gave that indication at the opening of Parliament while outlining the government's legislative program. He said the visas would be removed for all African nationals traveling to Ethiopia. The AU plan to make travel visa-free across Africa for African nations was to have taken place this year. It hasn't happened because Seychelles is the only African nation that has always allowed Africans and non-Africans alike to visit visa-free. A recent AU report reveals that Africans can travel without a visa to just 1/10 of the continent. A fuel tanker collision in the Democratic Republic of the Congo over the weekend is reported to have killed around 50 persons and another 100 suffered serious burns. Deputy Governor of Congo's Central Province says authorities were doing everything necessary to help victims of the crash in the village of Mbuta, about 130 kilometers from the capital. At least 230 people were killed in Congo in 2010 when a fuel tanker overturned and exploded, unleashing a fireball that tore through homes and cinemas packed with people watching World Cup soccer. Political prisoners seeking freedom in South Sudan's capital, Juba, have disarmed guards and seized control of parts of a detention center on Sunday at the headquarters of the National Security Service. An NSS statement says the standoff started when one prisoner overpowered a guard at the prison's entrance and seized his weapon. The inmates were protesting against what they call systematic injustice and oppression. They say all political prisoners and detainees need to be released or given fair trial. A total of 32 guns and some knives were seized by the detainees. There is a new app in Nairobi designed to provide deaf people with health-related information such as on family planning, protective measures and HIV/AIDS in Kenya. A Kenyan innovator came up with the idea he called Sex Elimu. He says the app would help members of the deaf community to be more aware of healthcare information, especially about HIV/AIDS. It would also help them communicate with their doctors who may not understand sign language.
Sex Elimu is an app where we focus on developing apps for education, likewise teaching different subjects. So for us, we focus on the deaf community, and what we do is that we get the material and we translate them into signs. So like sex, condom, family planning, all those different things, we change them into sign language.
Although he still has a long way to go, Asiama hopes that one day his app will be available worldwide, empowering members of deaf communities to make informed decisions about their health. More than 300,000 Kenyans are hearing impaired. When we return, 5,000 people missing in Indonesia's earthquake. And later, sport. The Tigers move up 15 points in latest FIBA rankings.
You are watching ANN.
If you know fit go internet or follow for Twitter, you know fit snap photo send or get it photo send. Now because you dey use Palasa, your phone no dey answer. See me see wahala. My brother, go get smartphone, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone wey no go for your hand, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone. Phone wey no fit take selfie. Drop that Palasa phone. No be correct phone, yeah. Drop that Palasa phone.
Upgrade to a smartphone today and get double data for 6 months on any MTN data bundle you buy. Simply purchase a smartphone from any store, anywhere in Nigeria, or bring your current smartphone from any network. Insert your MTN SIM card to start enjoying your double data bonus. Offer is open to all new and existing MTN subscribers. Join the largest smartphone movement today.
Make it known for your hand.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. On the international front, Indonesian officials are saying more than 5,000 people are feared missing after last month's deadly earthquake and tsunami. The grim estimates came as officials confirmed that more than 1,700 bodies have now been recovered from hard-hit areas. The country's disaster agency says the search for survivors will end on Thursday. 34 bodies were moved from one location on Saturday. Many of the dead have been found in the city of Palu, while accurate figures for more remote areas have been difficult to obtain. Haiti's Interior Minister reported on Sunday that at least 12 persons were killed and 188 wounded after a magnitude 5.9 earthquake struck the northern part of the country on Saturday night. President Jovenel Moïse visited the coastal city 15 miles from the quake's epicenter. He guaranteed that proper state systems would be fully mobilized to help victims. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western and is still recovering from a catastrophic 2010 earthquake that killed at least 220,000 people and destroyed much of the capital city. A far-right candidate, Jair Bolsonaro, has won the first round of Brazil's presidential election. Failing to score 50% of valid votes needed to win outright means they will now face left-wing Workers' Party candidate Fernando Haddad in the second round in late October. With almost all the votes counted, Bolsonaro had 46% and Haddad 29%. Bolsonaro's once insignificant social liberal party is poised to become the largest force in Congress following legislative elections held alongside the presidential votes. 20 people have been killed in a crash involving a stretch limousine taking people to a party in the U.S. state of New York. All 18 persons in the limousine died, along with 2 pedestrians on Saturday afternoon in the town of Shoshari. Witnesses described seeing the SUV-style limousine shoot across a junction and hit another car before plunging into people in a shop car park. The cause of the crash is unclear. The victims have not yet been officially named, but the New York Times reports that they include 4 sisters and at least 2 pairs of newlyweds. Police say all those killed were adults. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said on Monday North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was ready to allow international inspectors into the country's nuclear and missile testing site, one of the main sticking points over an earlier denuclearization pledge. Pompeo, who met Kim during a short trip to Pyongyang on Sunday, said the inspectors would visit a missile engine test facility and the Pyongyang nuclear testing site as soon as the 2 sides agree on logistics. Pompeo told reporters so much would need to be in place for another meeting between leaders of both countries. He said both the U.S. and North Korea are very close to an agreement on the details of a second summit, which Kim proposed to President Trump in a letter last month. Up next, sport. The Tigers move up 15 points in latest FIBA rankings. Stay with us.
You are watching ANN.
MTN gives 2,000% bonus for reactivating your MTN SIM.
That's right.
If you haven't used your MTN SIM for 45 days or more, recharge now and get 2,000% bonus. That's right, 2,000% bonus for your first recharge of every month.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow the story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. Now to sports. Nigeria's national women's basketball team, the Tigers, have moved up 15 places in latest FIBA women's rankings to 19th spot in the world after the 2018 World Cup heroics. At the last World Cup, Nigeria became the first African team to win more than one game in a single World Cup tournament. It also advanced to the quarterfinals of the competition, ranked the lowest at 34th before the 2018 FIBA World Cup in Spain. The Tigers have now emerged second best in Africa, replacing Angola. The first leg of the Lagos Open 2018 tennis tournament ended with Frenchman Tom Jumby and Indian Pranjala Yedaplali winning the men's and women's singles respectively. Jumby beat compatriot Arthur Rinderknecht in the men's finals, while Yedaplali, tournament's number 6 seed, ranked 395 in the world, beat top seed ranking 146 in the world, Connie Perrin from Switzerland at the Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. Yedaplali, who is in Lagos for the first time, said she was happy she could fight her way from the first round to the final of such a tournament. Good for her. That is ANN News this evening. Thank you for joining us. For details on this and other stories, visit our website, annafrica.net. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Have a pleasant evening.